But I want to move on now to the Red Sea operation. Opposition leader Peter Dutton today slammed Labor's decision not to send a warship to the region as weak and incompetent. It comes as the Iran-backed Houthi rebels continue to target vessels in the Red Sea. Senator, what do you make of Mr. Albanese's choice to focus on its Indo-Pacific strategy over a US-led mission?
Well, Australians are paying the price for Anthony Albanese's weak leadership on national security. Australia has a very strong interest in reopening the Red Sea for safe passage for commercial vessels because we are a trading nation and we're a nation in which the vast majority of our international trade is seaborne and very significant commodities pass through the Suez Canal and then the Red Sea to Australia, including oil and other commodities. And so Australians are going to be paying higher prices at the Bowser because the Prime Minister didn't have the courage or the ability to contribute to a multinational force with our closest allies, including the United States and the United Kingdom, to gain control again of the Red Sea and to remove the terrorist threat from the Houthis that are being posed to commercial shipping vessels. And those price increases will flow on to supermarkets and other places as well. And ultimately, Australians who are already struggling enough with the cost of living are going to be paying more because this government has been too weak and unable to contribute to this very important multinational mission.
Moving on to other big news this week. It seems like no company is safe from cyber attacks at the moment. We learned Yakult Australia is the latest target. Ransomware group Dragonforce claims it has stolen 95 gigabytes worth of data, including sensitive employee information. James, how concerned should we be about these attacks?
Well, once again, we have a Minister for Home Affairs and Cybersecurity who's missing in action. We have an acting Cybersecurity Minister who's dealing with this matter and an acting National Coordinator of Cybersecurity who are dealing with this matter because this government is obviously unable to field people in their full-time roles with their core responsibilities of dealing with these crises. And whether it's St Vincent's or Yakult, I'm very concerned about these repeated attacks and the inability of the Albanese government to get to the bottom of them. In the case of St Vincent's, it's more than 10 days now, and we still don't know whether or not any patient data has been stolen, who has stolen it, what they intend to do with it, or what data has been lost. And that is just utterly incompetent from this government and unfortunately reflects the lack of seriousness that they bring to the issues of national security. And I think Australians are entitled to be concerned about what is happening in this space because cyber criminals are out there roaming and not being met with the full force of the federal government to protect us.
It seems like only a matter of time but before every individual is affected. I got an email myself today from my local library saying the local council's library had been attacked in a cyber attack. It's just extraordinary. But finally, I do want to ask you about Australia's privacy watchdog launching an inquiry into TikTok to investigate whether the Chinese-owned app is harvesting users' data without their consent. Senator, I know you're no fan of TikTok. Are you happy that this probe has been launched?
It's overdue, Caroline, but it's very welcome. It was more than a year ago that I first wrote to the Privacy Commissioner and said that they should investigate TikTok for breaches of Australians' privacy, and now they've finally agreed to do so in response to these latest very serious allegations, which involve them using a marketing tool, a piece of software called a pixel, embedded on companies' websites that collects the information of everybody who visits that website, whether they're a TikTok user or not. And that information can include things like your email address, your phone number, your browsing history, and your shopping habits. And critically, the allegations are that TikTok is collecting this information without the consent of those users. Now, if that is the case, if that's proven to be the case, then they will have violated Australia's privacy laws and should be up for some very serious fines and penalties. But it shouldn't stop there because we know that TikTok is a recalcitrant company. They are a repeat offender when it comes to things like this. And frankly, we need legislation to deal with it. And the Albanese government and the Minister for Home Affairs and Cybersecurity, Claire O'Neill, has been sitting on not one, but 2 reports in the last 6 months which recommend action to tackle TikTok, and she's done nothing to deal with it. And I think that is well overdue for action.
It's far from an innocent dance choreography platform, is it? Senator James Paterson, thank you so much for your time this evening.